How's it, guys? DJ D-phlo here. So a lot of the times I get guys that come up to me at clubs asking how to do certain things on CD players, such as loop effects and all sorts of things. So I've decided to make some content regarding this particular thing, or this particular subject, which is looping. But I will also be taking you through in future videos how to do other certain things on your CD player, besides the normal stuff like jog wheeling and finding the pitch. By the way, I do have videos where I do try to explain in depth how to beat match and how to jog wheel and so forth. Just check out my YouTube channel. You should be able to find it there. Now we're gonna jump into this one straight up. What is looping? Basically, looping is you taking a section of a song and playing it on repeat. That's what you're doing. Now we need to go into how you go about doing it. Now, how you go about doing it on Pioneer CD players is basically the same. All or most Pioneer CD players, and especially most of the modern Pioneer CD players, will have these particular buttons here, which is your loop, your in, your out, and your exit, which is also your reloop, which also the other two also have other different functions, which I'm going to get into now. Now, the basics of looping is you're going to start where your loop starts is your loop in, and where you want to close your loop off is your loop out. Basic example of this is I'm going to play a song now here, just briefly, and then we'll jump back to explaining what happened. Loop in,
Yeah,
loop out.
yeah,
As you can hear, it's on repeat.
Yeah.
It's playing repeatedly the same portion. Now you can loop as far as you want to loop, basically, on a song. But normally DJs, you'd be looping either 4 beats, 8 beats, 16 or 32 beats. 32 beats being an extreme also, but you are able to do so. Some other Pioneer CD players have easier ways of you looping instead of you using these buttons over here. As you can see over here, what is already light that's illuminated here, which is your loop function as well. So if I click any of this, that's 1 beat, 2 beats, 4 beats,
yeah,
exact same thing.
yeah,
So depending on the Pioneer CD player, the model and make of the Pioneer CD, or the model of the Pioneer CD player that you're using, it would maybe have that option. But if you do not have that option, you have your loop in, your loop out, and your reloop. What your reloop is, I've explained these two here, which is number 1, loop in is where your loop begins, and loop out is where your loop ends. Reloop, basically, if you decide in the song you want to go back to this loop, you've now already started playing the song, now you want to reloop it, or just as a shortcut, instead of you clicking these ones here, once you've already selected the loop that you want to play, or the beats that you want to play, you just click reloop, it'll go back to it, and then exit. So that it functions as a button to go back quickly to the loop that you created, or to exit the loop. Now there is another function, or 2 other functions that these 2 buttons have here, which is basically to adjust your loop. You find that sometimes that the loop that you've created is not on sync, is not in sync rather, and you would need to get it fixed. As you can see right under here, it says in adjust, and the second one says out adjust, meaning that you're able to adjust both of the loops, or the loop from the in and the out. What this basically means is, I'm going to give you an example of a bad loop and how you actually fix it using these 2 buttons. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example of a bad loop where you would need to actually adjust it to wherever you'd want to have the loop, or adjust it in well enough so that you can actually mix into it, or use that loop to mix into a different into another beat. Sorry. Yeah. As you can hear, this loop is off. Hear that little double kick at the end. Now I'm going to adjust that with the loop out. So I want to cut down the distance or the time that I missed when I tried to loop this particular song. So click on loop out. You'll see that the loop out function will be the only one that's going to illuminate. Now when I move here, you're here. Loop out. Now it's perfect. You can mix it now. If it was the other way around, where you find that the actual beat that I have looped or created, the first beat was off, or I missed it a little bit, I can adjust that to the exact same way that I just did with that last beat that I did. So just for an example, it's still on. If I had to go back here, now I can go back forward to where the beat begins. A little bit more. Back a bit. There we go. Okay. So that's how you basically loop. You'll see that it's still flashing, meaning that if I play it now, it's going to continue looping. But if I want to go out of this loop, exit, and the song will continue and play like normal. I hope this has given some insight into how to loop, or someone that doesn't know how to do it at this point in time. Just remember to share, like, subscribe. I will still be dropping a lot more content when it comes to some of these other effects as well, and just basics on how to DJ. Like I did mention before, I do have a YouTube page where you can jump onto and just have a look at some of the videos that I've gone into in depth into your BPMs, your beat matching, how to sync. I will be going into a lot more of this as time comes. So share, like, subscribe, tell your DJ friends. Let's get moving.